Hello, this is John from VJ Books, and we're talking books. Just yesterday we learned that Iran had successfully tested a long-range ballistic missile, one capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. Recently, so has North Korea. One would think that the fear from nuclear war had eased at the end of the Cold War, but the threat is even more perilous than it was before. The threat, however, isn't of bombs falling on our shores. The serious threat is for an EMP. That's the electromagnetic pulse. When a nuclear weapon is detonated in the high atmosphere, it fries everything with a microchip. Power grids go down. Anything with a chip in it ceases to work. Cars before 1960 no longer operate. And this threat was covered very well in a 2009 book by William Forstchen. It was called 1 Second After. It details the life of a small community in the aftermath of just such an attack. Now William Forstchen comes out with 1 year after, picking up where 1 second after left off. It's 1 year after the end of that book. I'd like to share some of this with you today. Reading from the flyleaf. Months before publication, William R. Forstchen's 1 Second After was cited on the floor of Congress as a book all Americans should read. Hundreds of thousands of people have read the tale. 1 year after is a thrilling follow-up to that smash hit. The story begins a year after 1 Second After ends, 2 years since the nuclear weapons were detonated above the United States and brought America to its knees. After months of suffering, starvation, war, and countless deaths, the survivors of Black Mountain, North Carolina, are beginning to recover the technology and supplies they had once taken for granted, like electricity, radio communications, and medicine. When a federal administrator arrives in a nearby city, they dare to hope that a new national government is finally emerging. The hope diminishes quickly when town administrator John Matherson learns that most of the young men and women in his community are to be drafted into the Army of National Recovery and sent to trouble spots 100 miles away. He and the people of Black Mountain protest, but the new regime is already tyrannizing one nearby community. Will Matherson's friends and neighbors be next? Now I'll read from the first paragraph. Prologue. 700 days since the day. This is BBC News. It's 3 a.m. Greenwich wartime, and this is the news for today. This day marks the second anniversary of the start of the war that saw the detonation of 3 EMP weapons over the continental United States, another off the coast of Japan, and a fifth weapon believed to have veered off course and detonated over Eastern Europe. The effects of the attack, never fully confirmed but believed to be an act between Iranian-supported terrorists and North Korea, continue to reverberate around the world. It is estimated that upwards of 80% of all American and more than half the population of Japan, Eastern Europe, and what has been Western Russia and the Ukraine have died as a result. China has been seen as the new superpower in the wake of the attack, with significant Chinese forces defined as humanitarian now occupying the west coast of the United States and Japan. Western Europe and our own United Kingdom, though spared the direct results of the attack, are still feeling the profound economic impact as the world attempts to reestablish economic and political balance. In South Asia, intense fighting continues in the wake of a limited nuclear exchange between Pakistan and India. The second anniversary of what most now call the day was commemorated today by the King, who attended a memorial service at Westminster Abbey. After the service, a renewed pledge was made by the Prime Minister to help our European neighbors with their rebuilding efforts and to extend continued aid to the United States. Is our future dark? Enjoy 1 year after by William Forstchen. It'll start you thinking. I'm John from BJ Books, and we're talking books.